Hey, what's going on, everybody? Six Past Dunga coming to you again with yet another reaction video. So I know it's been quite a long time since I did a reaction video. I've just been pumping out these analysis videos like crazy. But I feel like it's a good time for me to start getting back into the reaction videos. You know, I gotta stay high. I can't go too long without making one. So I asked you guys, what are some content creators that you guys would like to see me react to? And Sharkname, however you say his name, he was one of the first ones to pop up. So I said, you know what? Hey, let's do it. Now, I have known about this guy for a very long time, but I never watched any one of his videos. So today, this is gonna be the first video I watch of him. Before we do anything though, you already know what we do around here. Make sure you guys go show some love to him. You guys see right here, this video is at 75 likes. Go ahead and get it to 100, man. But as it pertains to the story, this title has caught my eye, so I say, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna talk about this because somebody had dropped a clean hot take saying something about Momoshiki and Boruto fusing to create a whole nother being. So I'll say, you know what? I'll talk about it with you guys. You know, I'll give my 2 cents on it. Whatever's there as it pertains to that theory, I'll talk about it, and we can, you know, either dead it or keep it alive. You know. Before we get into the video, like I said, his channel will be down below in the description, so make sure you guys go check him out. Also, it's gonna be at the top right hand of your screen. I hope I'm pointing there. If not, then over here, but I'm pretty sure it's this way. It's probably wrong, but hey, who cares?
JOUGAN, and JOUGAN. Yeah, maybe this is a topic that, because so many people keep talking about it, a lot of others are starting to feel sick and tired of it. Everyone keeps mentioning JOUGAN.
I don't know why I am. I'm sick and tired of it.
Soon.
I made way too many videos on it. Way too many videos. Oh my god. I'm done.
Especially since our biggest expectations are pinned on the upcoming chapter 23, the climax point that will determine whether it's Momoshiki who emerges or JOUGAN itself. Yep. Right? But
it's gonna be my favorite chapter.
A topic, an analysis, or even a prediction that's far more interesting than JOUGAN itself. And that is Momoshiki and Boruto. Finally, they team up, just like Naruto and Kurama. However, in this case...
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Would people hate this? Let's be subjective right here. Would people hate if Momoshiki and Boruto teamed up? Like, okay, they don't have to be friends like Naruto and Kurama. But even just teaming up to defeat a common enemy. Actually thinking about it, hold on. I wouldn't hate that if they teamed up momentarily to like take down JURA. They both have a reason to want to take down JURA. I mean, Momoshiki doesn't want to lose his vessel and his only tie to the world of the living, and Boruto doesn't want to die. So I can see where their goals align, but I don't know if I see Momoshiki willingly giving Boruto his power. If they team up, it has to be something like Boruto just devouring Momoshiki and stealing his power. Not borrowing it, but stealing it. Or I can see Momoshiki just saying, you know what? You got it, big bro. Take my power, do what you want. I give up. You gotta make Momoshiki lose his will to live. Give him a little Uno reverse card.
Let me repeat once more. Momoshiki and Boruto have finally teamed up like Kurama and Naruto, and they're working together to take down Kawaki. I don't know if you've heard this theory or analysis before, but try to consider it and think it.
Okay.
The main point of this discussion lies in the very first scene in both the Boruto manga and anime, especially that epic final battle between Kawaki and Boruto at the Hokage Monument. First and most importantly, what do you actually see in Boruto's eye? I mean, in the manga, when Boruto activates his karma, is that the JOUGAN, or is it actually the Byakugan? I'm sure that the moment I say Byakugan, many of you will immediately think it's nonsense, or even stupid, right?
I mean, the thing about that, I feel like a lot of people do that too. Kishimoto did it with the Rinnegan. Just go back to part 1. At the very end of part 1, the last chapter of part 1 Naruto, they briefly revealed a panel showing pain, but the Rinnegan did not have any details in it. You couldn't see the circles in his eye. It didn't have any detail. And that's just because he didn't want people to know what the Rinnegan was. It could be also that Kishimoto came up with the Rinnegan on the fly. Maybe at the end of part 1, when he first wrote the leader of the Akatsuki, the unknown mysterious guy, maybe Kishimoto just came up with that on the fly. The same could be said with the JOUGAN. Those are 2 possibilities. Either Kishimoto just came up with the JOUGAN on the fly, or he just didn't want to go into detail because he didn't want anybody to know what it was yet. Now, the anime is a bit different because, as we know, the anime came out like a year or 2 after the manga came out, and by that time it could have been different. Kishimoto could just say, you know what, I want to give Boruto the JOUGAN or some type of special dojutsu, and then boom. Like, all I'm saying is it can be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be so complicated. Like, it can be a Byakugan, but then again, it cannot. And I think what he's gonna try to push is that maybe it's a Byakugan, maybe Momoshiki and him fused, and then Boruto gained the abilities of Momoshiki's Byakugan. But that's just me. Let's just keep watching the video.
I assumed that Boruto managed to control his karma, and that was also
like I said, y'all know what I think about it.
To use the Momoshiki ability for the first time. And again, I say, I suspect that when Boruto first managed to control his karma and used Momoshiki's abilities, that was the Byakugan, not the JUGAN. Just relax and let me finish this first. We know as an Otsutsuki, and although we don't know the full original history and how the relationship or the reason why Momoshiki has Byakugan, but at least this is the main point why I said at the beginning. If Boruto managed to control Momoshiki's power, which one of them is Byakugan? In other words, it can also be assumed that Momoshiki cooperated with Boruto to defeat Kawaki in his last mode. But I want to hear your opinion first about this, guys. Which information is valid in the early chapters and the first scene in the anime? JUGAN or Byakugan?
It could just be that the JOUGAN is anime canon, and in the manga, it'll be the Byakugan. I've heard many theories like that before, but just thinking more casually, like, bro, don't think about it too hard. IKEMOTO was definitely trying to show us some crazy new dojutsu. Him emphasizing the eye and everything, and all the confirmed statements that IKEMOTO will be giving Boruto a special eye later on down the road. All that leads me to believe that this could be more than what it is, or what it appears to be. One hint that we're given in these little 2 panel scenes, whatever, is that Boruto was able to activate his karma without the fear of any repercussions. No fear of being taken over by Momoshiki or anything. And I actually said that in my hot takes video in response to that one prediction. I can't remember who said it, but they did talk about a possibility where Momoshiki and Boruto fused together officially. And I said that is a possibility because seeing how reluctant Boruto is to use the karma now, and how willing he is to use the karma in this panel right here, it just got me thinking, like, what happened between now and this scene right here that gave Boruto all the confidence in the world to activate his karma without the fear of being taken over by Momoshiki? It has to be something. Maybe Momoshiki's not a factor anymore. Maybe they forged a pact or something like that. It's obvious that Momoshiki is not a threat, but why is that? There's a lot of reasons it could be, but I have to give it to y'all, I never really thought of the possibility of them fusing together. And it doesn't really have to change Boruto's appearance at all. He's already like 100% Otsutsuki. He can still keep the same appearance and have access to all of Momoshiki's power. But for the sake of the video, on the thumbnail, you're gonna see him look kind of crazy. You know, hey, it is what it is.
The reason why Boruto's eye in the manga isn't the JUGAN is because not everything that appears in the anime has to be the same in the manga at the same time.
Exactly.
And vice versa. Some things might have been intentionally changed or modified, possibly as clickbait or to grab the attention of Naruto fans and the like. As a form of media, they obviously have to think about specific strategies to make things look more appealing and impressive. Especially since the majority of Boruto's audience are hardcore Naruto fans who naturally have high expectations for Boruto himself. Sorry if I'm bad at representing this, but
it's true. Y'all wouldn't care if he just activated a random or regular Byakugan. Y'all wouldn't care. But since it's the JOUGAN, y'all on it.
At least in the Boruto arc, one clear example of inconsistency can be seen during Sarada's fight against Boro. If you look carefully in the manga story in the chapter Sarada fights against Boro, Sarada is shown activating the Sharingan with 3 Tomai, while in the anime adaptation, Sarada only awakens 2 Tomai. Why is this inconsistent? Is this purely a misunderstanding, or is it intentional? Shouldn't every adaptation in the anime as a reference be the manga, right? But if you ask what the answer is, one of the most rational answers is because of different interests. Regardless of the miss of information and communication, maybe this is a form of entertainment to attract a wider range and attention of fans. But I want to hear what you think about this. But from there, many finally thought that JUGAN at the beginning of the manga story could not be JUGAN, because once again, the anime adaptation only took advantage of that moment to attract the attention of the Naruto fandom, who had long retired or were not even interested in Boruto.
It's true.
I am also not denial and consider it completely that it is JUGAN. The reason I'm saying it's the Byakugan is based on analysis. It's not an absolute fact.
Well, I'm going to say it right now so you guys can see me saying it. If it turns out to be the Byakugan, you can come back to the video and scrutinize me all you want. I'm saying that is the JOUGAN. That's the JOUGAN. Because the JOUGAN looks different in the anime is because they gave it the Rinnegan treatment. Like I said, I'll even put a panel up here, or when I first talked about it, when I edit it, I don't know. But you guys are going to see what I'm talking about. When concepts are first thought out, sometimes creators come up with stuff on the fly. You realize when people start writing manga, most of the times they don't have the whole story fleshed out. Most manga artists like to leave room for creativity as the story goes on. And it's gonna be because of the JOUGAN that Momoshiki won't be able to take over Boruto's body anymore. Hence why it's called the pure eye. Momoshiki's downfall is going to be the evil in his heart. The JOUGAN is going to fight against that. So the thing that could just defeat Momoshiki once and for all, it could just be the JOUGAN. He doesn't have to lose his will to live. He doesn't have to cooperate with Boruto. I feel like readers would respect it more if Boruto just snatched Momoshiki's power from him. Make him lose his will. Like I said, Uno reverse card. I don't think people would respect it if Boruto and Momoshiki kind of have like a Naruto and Kurama relationship going on. Even if it's not exactly how Naruto and Kurama was, I still feel like they would respect it more if Boruto just went his own direction with it. Momoshiki doesn't deserve anything that Kurama got. He's pure evil, and that's it. He deserves to have everything stripped away from him. And that's what I think will happen once Boruto activates the JOUGAN. But it's too much JOUGAN talk, man. Oh, too much JOUGAN, Otsutsuki talk. Oh man, it's hurting my head.
There are actually some pretty valid reasons to support that too. One of them is the shape of the eye. It looks different from the Byakugan that Boruto has shown, especially during his fight against Code. If you look carefully, the Byakugan that appears in Boruto's eyes, whether when Momoshiki takes over Boruto's body or when Boruto manages to awaken it himself, is completely different from the eyes we saw in the first chapter. In the first chapter, the circles in the center of his eyes appear to be the same size as the circles in his normal eyes.
Yeah. But then again, the JOUGAN does look very similar to the Byakugan, so...
eyes, but it was a new form of change. If the eyes were Byakugan eyes, the circles in the center of his eyes should look bigger than his normal eyes. This was clearly depicted by Mikio when Boruto fought against Code.
And that's a nitpick, because sometimes how the Byakugan is drawn is inconsistent. Like, that could easily be a Byakugan. It could pass as a Byakugan. It looks like one too. But then again, it could just be a prototype of the JOUGAN. Like, if it was really the JOUGAN confirmed, let's just go back a little bit here. If this was the JOUGAN confirmed, and if IKEMOTO wanted us to know this is the JOUGAN, around the pupil right here, what is that called? The sclera? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it's called. But let's just say the outermost part of his eye is supposed to be dark gray, black, whatever you want to say. Right here, it's clearly white. Now, if it had a bit more color, it'd be like, yo, yeah, that's a JOUGAN for sure. But since it's not, there leaves room for speculation. That's all I'm saying. We won't really know, so it's no point to really like harp on this topic. We won't know until it's time to know.
The Boruto anime company used JUGAN because Kishimoto in the manga did not show the name of the eye that Boruto appeared when fighting Kawaki.
Yeah.
The anime company must have known in advance the name of the eye that Boruto appeared when Kishimoto gave them the main script. If it was JUGAN, then it wasn't the first time Boruto mastered the Karma Momoshiki. It could be that the moment when Boruto mastered Karma Momoshiki happened around a few chapters earlier. And as the final conclusion, if it really is the Byakugan shown in the manga and not the JUGAN, then can we say that in the end, Momoshiki and Boruto might form a bond similar to Naruto and Kurama? I admit, it's a hard idea to accept.
I can't wrap my head around it. I mean, I could see them forming a bond, but it's not going to be as of the same dynamic of Naruto and Kurama. You see what I'm saying? So with that, I'm going to have to disagree on that one. But everything else was solid takes, not going to lie. So that's going to be it for this video. Shout out to Shark for the dope video. Has some real interesting takes in this one, you know. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me ask the question one more time, and I promise I will never talk about this again. Ever, until it's time to talk about it. Actually, no, I'm not going to ask that question. I'm going to ask this question. What do you guys feel about a possible Momoshiki and Boruto team up? Let's not say team up, because I'm not going to call it a team. I wouldn't say that. What do you think about them joining and becoming one being, one entity? Whether that's Boruto just saying, you know what, Momoshiki, your power is mine and that's it, you better listen. Or Momoshiki being like, all right, you got it, here's my power, or something like that. Let me know what direction you think IKEMOTO should take as it pertains to that. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you know whenever I upload or go live for chapter spoilers. Remember, I'm gonna leave the link to Shark's channel down below in the description, so make sure you guys go show him some love, man. Really dope content creator, and yeah, really underrated for real. But anyway, I'm out, fellas. Peace.